Marian Hurducaș este numele meu, suntem la 18 ani de GPeC. Mă bucur să fiu la această dată aniversare alături de voi, alături de eveniment. Începem seria de interviuri deja tradiționale pe care le avem de aici, de la TNB. Evenimentul a început, lucrurile se întâmplă pe scenă. Andrei Radu, care este și fondatorul GPeC, cu siguranță a zis deja primele cuvinte de deschidere. Încep interviul nu cu oricine, ci cu Dan Ariely. Este lângă mine. Google him if you know the book. Read it. I have it. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this day?
Complex.
Complex. I read a bit of your book. I like it. I like the idea of misbelief. Is the same with cognitive bias?
No. So if you think about a metaphor of a cookie,
Yeah.
a cookie is a food that was designed to attack our taste and our psychology.
Okay, to attack. I like that.
To get us to want one and then to keep on having them. In the same way, misbelief is describing a system that attacks almost all of our psychology. It starts with stress, it moves to cognitive biases, it has aspects in personality, and then it has social elements. Actually, you can think about this book as a look at all of psychology from the perspective of misbelief. And when you look at it this way, you realize that there are lots of things that are standing against us in our quest to know what's real and to adopt ideas that are just not correct.
That's a tough one with what's real and what's truth.
By the way, one other, in the same way that the cookie is bad for the person, but it's bad for the healthcare system and for society, it's also true about misbeliefs. They are bad for people. When people adopt misbelief, they can be very negative for them. But it's also bad for society. It creates lots of mistrust. It creates a perspective that is not about cooperating in society and so on.
I bet you are true. I have some questions that I'm dying to ask you. Social media is designed to get our attention and to drive our emotion like no other tool before. I think we can agree on that.
Yes. Well, religion is a competitor, but okay. But it's a
That's
but
so
but
true.
but social media is certainly have evolved to tap human emotions more than human thoughts. For example, even if we ask people, think very quickly before you share something. People share much less.
Yeah. Now we know we can talk about addiction. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Echo chambers, so on and so forth. We know there's an algorithm that gives us more that we like.
Yeah.
But does the algorithm rely on our beliefs?
No. So first of all, we need to recognize that what is true is not always as appealing as what is false. So, for example, there was a video about me that showed how I was badly injured, which is true. How I was in hospital for 3 years, true. Got badly burned. This is why I don't have hair on this side, also true. But then it went ahead to say that because of that, I started hating healthy people. And that's why I joined the Cabal and Bill Gates and the Illuminati to try and kill as many healthy people as possible. Not true. But as a 90-second video, it's very appealing. It's about the creation of a villain. Here is a tragedy. Somebody started hating. Here is what they're doing. It's a very good story, right? As story goes. And there are many others about me. Actually, now, last week, there started stories about me, how I'm connected to the Hamas terrorism in Israel organization. But, true stories are just not that interesting. From time to time, somebody invents penicillin, amazing news, but it's not as the moment you
Boring.
No, penicillin is exciting, but it takes a long time for something true to be that interesting. When you are not limited by the truth, you can create very interesting stories. So And if the currency is clicks, by the way, clicks are also interesting because it's a very ambiguous language. Do you say that you like something, that you find it ridiculous, that you agree with it, that you find it puzzling? You know, it's unclear what it is. The person who is receiving it say, oh, lots of people agree with it. But the people who are producing those likes, it's not clear what it is that they are really thinking. So we have a system that is designed to tap our emotions and to get us to take quick actions without thinking. That's not a good recipe.
How easy can a person can get from belief to misbelief?
So, as I described, the building block, the fertile ground for creating misbeliefs is stress. And I don't mean the stress of, gee, I'm so busy.
Exciting.
The misbelief that we have in mind, the stress we have in mind, can they hear us over this? Or
Yeah, they can
you
hear
think
us.
so? We'll see. The kind of stress that is important is that people don't understand the world. Why am I not getting more? Why is my role so limited? Why am I not successful? Why was I fired? So the moment you have stress, very easy to create misbeliefs.
Can we say truth is an option now? And if it's an option these days, is democracy in jeopardy because of that?
So I think that these discussions about post-truth era or truth is an option and so on is not true, and it's incredibly damaging. And I think that as a society, we have to agree that we cannot go there. That understanding truth is incredibly important to all of us. It's important for society and healthcare and coordination and trust. Just imagine that next week we had COVID-23. How many people would believe the vaccine? How many people, if their kids cough in the morning, will keep them at home and not send them to school? The moment we don't believe in truth, very hard to get collective action. Very hard to get people to agree to work together, pay taxes.
So why is truth so ambivalent?
I think we have created a different movement in society that values other things compared to the truth. So, like identity.
Okay.
So, you know, when somebody on the right in the US is saying Trump really won the election, you know, when they say it the first time, they don't really mean it. They're just saying, look what a Trump supporter I am. When somebody is on the left saying there's no such a thing as gender, they don't really mean it the first time. They just become very extreme in their ideas. And we have a lot of discussions that are really about identity and not about the truth. But it's very confusing. When you see people saying it, it's unclear. Is this the truth or is this an identity statement? So we get these things confused. And look, people can decide to favor different things. People can decide, you know, the truth doesn't matter. It's all about identity. But the moment things become about identity, there's a cost to society. Now, who am I supposed to believe, right? Just imagine, how can a vaccine for COVID become a political issue? How can it become right versus left on a vaccine? Like, how does that happen? It happens because one of the things that people favor these days is identity over the truth. But it's a very dangerous point of view.
Yeah, I agree. Can we say, I'm going to stay a little bit on this truth matter. Do you think truth became a tradable commodity? If so, can marketing, among others factors, be held responsible for it?
You know, I think there's certainly an inflation,
Okay.
a reduction of trust that have come from lots of places. But I think that in the commercial world, it's been a small activity. People exaggerate a little. There have been some accountability for that, right? I think the place where really made a big difference is actually the ideological sphere, where all of a sudden, like if you think about the videos we see of deep fake,
A bit scary.
very, very scary, very, very scary. If you think about those videos, they do not come from the commercial world. The commercial world has some responsibility at the end of the day. Even if we think about cigarette companies, some of the most difficult changes, like you can't imagine that cigarettes company now are creating deep fake of people, or you can't imagine them creating deep fake research or websites that are dedicated to show that smoking is healthy for you. There's a limit to what it is because there's accountability. On the other hand, if you look in the political sphere, no such limitation are happening. Think about, close to the border here, about Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah.
The amount of things that Russia has been doing with fake news with Ukraine. By the way, Ukraine has done some as well. And if you think about our own ideology, I'm guessing where you are, but you could say, I don't like it when party A is doing fake news, but
No.
I'm okay.
I'm a journalist.
Okay.
And I try to be as much as I can objective and well balanced.
Yeah. But here's an example of completely a very extreme version of abusing news channels in a way that I think the commercial world would have never done.
As filters led to dysmorphia, to body dysmorphia actually, can AI lead to cognitive dysmorphia?
So I'm very worried about AI. The thing that worries me most about AI is not so much deep fake and so on. What worries me is that, what I talk about in misbelief, I say that misbelief has two components. One component is believing in something that is not true. But the second component is that thing becomes a central tendency in the person. So you could say, why do I care if somebody believes the earth is flat? By believing the earth is flat, they're not going to change.
It's a question I ask myself many times.
Yeah, but we do care because it's not just about believing the earth is flat. It's believing that NASA is cheating, that every government is cheating, that every pilot knows the truth and not telling. And it's not just about the belief. If you say, maybe the earth is flat, I don't care, not a big deal. If you think of it as a central tendency, you view everything in life from that perspective. Now imagine that we had some kind of goal and we have an AI filter, and that AI filter is producing for each person their version of misbelief that is suited for them like an individual trait. Again, if we take the cookie metaphor, imagine there's a cookie for each person with the right combination of sugar, fat, and salt. But that's, of course, we're talking about much more complex process. That really worries me, right? Because misbeliefs at the end of the day answer a need. They don't answer it in the right way. We would prefer people to eat vegetables, but they have a need for food and sugar and fat and so on. It's answered by a cookie. Misbelief is a bad answer to a real need that people have. If AI could tailor each of the misbeliefs to a person, process, and so on, it will become incredibly more powerful. I think that's much more worrisome than something that looks like a real person. If I could understand your psychological needs and create a misbelief that is tailored for you specifically, that would be incredibly scary and powerful.
I don't think we are far from that moment. Actually, it's happening.
It's getting closer. It's getting closer, right? Because right now we have not only just misbeliefs that go to everybody, we have different versions that go to different people.
Can we use a tool, and what is that, if there is a tool, to, I don't know, to use it as an antidote to a misbelief?
Yeah. So you know, in lots of areas in technology, we think that humanity is the weak link. We say, oh, we have lots of car accidents, let's just change it and let's get cars to drive. We have lots of statistical inferences problem, let's get computers to infer statistics. With misbelief, I think that people are the strong link. I think that the technology is not going to get us better, the technology is going to get us worse. And what we need to do is to work on ourselves. You know, I wish there was a technology tool for that, but it's not a technology tool, it's a regulation tool that we need. And what we need to do is to get ourselves to be better tools for persuasion, misinformation, and so on. So for example, think about all the things that you believe.
Yeah.
And what we need to do is to ask ourselves deeper questions about our beliefs, right? We need to stop trusting blindly things that we see. We need to be more cautious. We need to be more critical. We need to verify facts. And we need to work on ourselves because technology is not going to help us.
Is it we are here with all these misbeliefs because of the lack of education? It's a classical question actually, but can this fix the problem?
So lack of education is part of the story, right?
Okay.
Lack of digital literacy, lack of education, but a part of it is just no time, right? Again, if you think about the underlying fundamentals for misbelief is being stress, right? And people...
When you say stress, you say fear?
Yes, it's stress. I don't mean about being busy. I mean, I don't understand the world.
Stress factor.
That's right. And when I don't understand the world, I want a story. I want a story to help me understand it. And I want a story with the villain so I can blame somebody else.
Yeah, you always have the good and the bad.
That's right. And I want a complex story where I would feel in control and so on. So we have this desire for a story, and then somebody serves you a little story. Think about how much strength people need to say, I crave that story. I crave a story about why it's not my fault and so on. We need a lot of strength at that moment to say, yes, somebody is serving me a story that gives me a simple way out, but I'm not going to adopt this story. So I think we could make some progress with education. We can say some progress with media literacy. But at the end of the day, it's just a little bit too tempting, especially when people are stressed and don't have cognitive capacity to deal with everything.
Can't I be stressed enough just by asking every time if that's the truth?
No, that's not the kind of stress we're talking about. So you could be busy, you could be confused. The one thing you want is the misbelief is that you're feeling bad about yourself, you don't understand how the world is working, and you are adopting a 100% answer.
No, what I'm asking is, I know I have to question everything.
Yeah. The moment, let me just say, the moment you question everything, we call this intellectual humility, you are basically in a much better position. Why? Because as we said, misbelief is about the belief in the wrong thing, but it's also about adopting something as a central tendency in your life. The moment you are questioning everything, you're not adopting something and saying, that's 100% true. So if you, for example, say, you know what, was JFK really killed by the FBI or not? I'm not so sure. You're not a misbeliever. You're a skeptic, which is very different. The moment you adopt it as here is something I really believe, or, we never really made it to the moon, it's all fake, whatever it is, all of a sudden you are not a misbeliever. A misbeliever means that you adopt something in such certainty that you view everything this way. And I'll give you one example. I was on some radio show in the US. And after this radio show, one of the people who listened called me and said, "Oh, there was this case of salmonella in my city. Why do you think it happened?" And I said, "Probably bad hygiene practices. They didn't wash something, and so on." And he said, No. I don't understand how things work. Their city is from one political orientation, and the company who had the salmonella is from the opposite. And they did it on purpose. Right? Now that's what it means to misbelieve. There's such a big mistrust that everything that happened, you say, "Oh, I know what's happening. It's these people from the other political party who were trying to poison us in some way." That's why it's so dangerous. But if you say to yourself, "You know what? Some people in politics are doing terrible things. Maybe somebody was not as careful because, we are from one political party and they're from another one," that's not yet a misbelief. So skepticism is actually good.
I agree. I told someone, just question everything you hear. And that person told me, "Is that the way you are living your life?" And I was, yeah, I question everything. I'm skeptical about things. I was trained this way by my profession. Now I'm doing marketing. So I have so many reasons to ask if that's what it is. And the person told me, "Man, that's just so stressful. How can you live like that, questioning everything, not believing everything you are told?"
Yeah. So first of all, I doubt where you question everything. I think there's some things like you look like, I don't know if this is a wedding ring or not, but
this is a wedding.
It's a wedding ring. I don't think you wake up every morning and ask yourself, "Does my significant other love me or not?" Maybe sometimes, but questioning everything is just impossible.
Yep.
I think it's not. It's kind of a statement, questioning everything, but you don't really mean questioning everything. But I do think that thinking carefully about what we want to question is very important. So I'm Jewish, and we have what called the Day of Atonement. Once a year we have a day of fast, and so on. And I use that day to question something very deep about my beliefs. Every year I pick.
Actually, you are challenging yourself.
That's right. Every year. Now, there are things I question all the time, but there are big things to question from time to time. I'm not sure a yearly is enough, but for example, this year I decided to ask myself the question of whether I think that human nature is inherently good or inherently bad. I had some progress. I didn't come with an answer to this, but I think it is good from time to time to question our basic assumptions. We can't all do it all the time.
Yeah, definitely. One more question. I know you're about to enter the stage. What's your presentation gonna be?
I am going to talk about human capital.
Okay, sounds interesting.
People at work are kind of the big resource for every company. Every CEO says
it's just a saying, or it's
that's right. And the question is, what does it mean? And I have been doing research for a very long time, trying to quantify what it means. And there are some surprises. There are things that people think matter a lot, but they don't. There are things people think don't matter and matter. So we're going to talk about what gets people to be truly excited. And the reason this is important is that, in life, there's lots of things that if you get something, I get less. It's called zero-sum game. Human capital, everybody could be better off. If people come to work happy, everybody is better off. And if people come to work miserable, everybody is losing. The employees, the management, the shareholders. So it's a very important topic to understand.
Being a family at work is just a misbelief.
Being a family at work? I don't think so. I think it's hard to do, but I think there are ways to do it.
Dan, thank you very much for your time.
Nice to meet you.
Good luck on the stage.
Thank you.